Welcome back, everybody, to Sports with Mono and Mono. I'm Jim, and as always, I'm here with my partner, Steve. Steve, welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our
Weekly
podcast, so to speak, on Saturday.
I just wanted to actually give a shout out. I got a nice text from one of our loyal listeners in Arkansas, Walter Hahn.
Walter Hahn.
Really, 2 thumbs up. Listens to it every week, and we thank Walter. And let's move on.
Walter must be excited about the Arkansas Notre Dame game that will take place, I think, in 2027, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a big Hog fan.
I know he is.
No question about that.
Yep.
But let's start with our weekly segment, the monologue, and I turn it over to my partner, Steve.
Sure, thank you. And I think we made a faux pas last week. We omitted some big news. Mainly, Mr. Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona and heading to Paris Saint-Germain.
I thought we touched on it.
No, we did not.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up is obviously I did a monologue on Messi, probably well over a month now. But this was huge news. And I guess he's making $35 to $40 million a year. Barcelona, where he's been since he was a baby in diapers, it's surprising. They were doing everything they can, and I don't know the financial in and outs of how they do things, but the league told Barcelona this isn't going to work, right? Because you didn't dot the I, didn't cross the T's here, and lo and behold, Messi's gone. So Messi goes, right?
PSG.
Right? PSG. And I got to equate this. I said to somebody, it's bigger than the Beatles and Menudo performing, okay. Right? The boy band back in the day, our girls, whatever, they were huge. Huge, Jerry. Huge.
Why, I don't know.
But, Messi in a hotel room, Messi arriving at the airport, Messi looking at,
Yeah.
And this is big news. But I'm holding firm. I think this guy's the best player in the world. Ronaldo is obviously right up there. But I just wanted to touch on it. This was huge news. And, hey, a new chapter for him.
All right.
But this guy is 34 years old, and he's still got 4 more great years of.
Well, that's a good monologue, Stephen. Yes, it is big news in the world of sports, no question. The reason was financially they couldn't sustain signing him to this ridiculous contract. Otherwise, the team would have financially collapsed. That's the reason not because Barcelona didn't want to keep him.
Right.
But because they couldn't afford to pay him the money that
Correct.
He's getting, So he goes to PSG. He was supposed to make his debut yesterday, but I guess he's tired from carrying all that money to the bank.
Yeah,
right,
I could say it.
He's awesome.
A lot of duffel bags.
And it was Scarface carrying the bags,
Total.
opening the van.
Absolutely.
But yes, he's a big star, and you're right. Yeah, I mean, you could argue Ronaldo or Messi all day long, but you can't go wrong. Those are the 2 guys in the conversation.
Yep.
Absolutely. And listen, our monologue was sponsored by Coriano Trucking. And again, just a dedicated, loyal sponsor of the show, and we thank them. Good monologue, Steve. Let's move on. Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
How about this? The Mets are not hot. The Yankees are hot. How about this? You were hanging me for the Yankees going to win 98 games. They're on their way.
They're not going to win 98, but I got to say they are on fire.
It is.
They really are. And they win 10-2 yesterday. Garrett Cole goes today. Since the Gallo Rizzo moves, Brian Cashman
looking pretty good. Even Andrew Heaney pitched a good game the other night. That's
right.
how hot they are.
Yeah, but they are blazing. They were 10.5 behind Boston, right? In May, June type of thing.
Yep.
And they've made up ground. Now, is this the 1978 New York Yankees?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Making up the ground that they did to catch the Red Sox? Absolutely not.
Right.
But
it's cool to see. It's actually cool to see.
It's really Yeah, it's cool to see.
But how about the pitching? I'm not kidding. I mean, Cortez, he goes out.
Yeah.
And this kid Heel, he comes out, and they're all
It's
lights out.
Jameson Taillon. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. Since the All-Star break, things like that. He's like 8-0 or something.
Yeah.
He's a big kid. He's had 2 Tommy Johns.
And
Got
how about-
off to a slow start, but really,
And how
he's
about
been-
this Velasquez kid? This story, how
great
awesome
story.
isn't it? You know, Fordham prep guy,
Totally,
and,
from
you
the
know,
Bronx.
he literally lives down the street with his parents.
He does.
you know?
And it's uncanny. I mean, he was in the Orioles system last year, batted like 159 or something. He got in a few games because it's the Orioles.
Yeah.
They need players.
Yeah.
And for what he's doing,
Punching bag,
he
yeah.
made this, just a brilliant play at
Made
shortstop.
a couple of them,
Right,
yeah.
but the throw to Rizzo on the one hopper, and it was reviewed, and that was a great play. He's getting 2 hits a night.
And you know who
It's
he
great
reminds
to
me of,
watch.
Steve? He reminds me of a guy that we played with growing up, like Ricky Rex. Just like he looks like $1 million in a baseball uniform, and he makes every single
Oh, yeah.
play that I love it. you
Yeah,
know?
he's the type of guy that puts a uniform on at 10 in the morning and sits in the mirror and can't wait to
Oh.
go to the stadium.
Like this is literally when am I going to wake up? From
Absolutely.
This dream?
Right. You got to put a napkin on when you have lunch so you don't get ketchup on your uniform.
Right, but he eats breakfast with the eye black under his eyes. 'cause
No
he,
question.
you know,
With the hat on.
right? A baseball player, right? A baseball player.
Yeah.
But it's going great for them, and on the other side
Yeah.
of the pond, it's kind of the Mets. And what's happened to this? It's crazy, right?
It is. It's really unique with the shift in momentum here. Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, is beside himself watching this unproductive lineup.
Okay, but they're still not out of it. I think they're going to turn this around.
Well, the
At some
Braves are
point,
starting
they're
to
gonna hit.
separate themselves. See, the Braves lose Ronald Acuna Jr., and the Braves were just stuck in mediocrity all year.
Yeah.
But they're on a roll kind of like the Yankees
They
are.
got a lot of talent
And now
on
they're
that team.
separating themselves because the more the Mets lose, the Braves just keep winning.
And the Phillies, you don't have to worry about because outside of Wheeler, they don't have anything.
You know
on
what?
the
I
team.
just read an article about the Phillies. Joe Girardi. A lot of the Philly fans are not fans of him. His pompous douchebag
He is.
type of
Yeah.
demeanor.
Yeah.
I'm a Girardi guy. I am, but I see that act can wear thin very
It's wearing
quickly.
thin in Philly.
Yeah, but the Phillies are a disappointment.
Right, but how about the Dodgers? They're starting to mold into the team we thought they were going to be, unbeatable.
And yet the Giants keep winning.
And the Giants keep winning. I actually watched the Giants play the Mets. The Mets actually won the game in 12 innings.
But
and
you-
again, that's starting a runner at second base in extra innings. drives
You know
me
what?
crazy.
I think they're gonna. I think they're
It's
gonna,
going away.
Yeah, they're gonna go. That'll
Going-
go away.
And so are the 7 inning
probably by
doubleheaders.
next year.
And so are the 7 inning double.
But speaking of the Giants, we just touched on the Phillies. Gabe Kapler is the Giants manager.
Yeah.
And Gabe Kapler was the Phillies manager. And Gabe Kapler got fired by the Phillies basically after 1 year because he was so bad. And here he is, all they're doing is winning.
Best record in baseball.
Right.
you
So
know.
it right, isn't it kind of, that's baseball.
Yeah.
Right?
Baseball. But it's heating up. It's really cool to see the big turnaround for both New York teams. One positive, one negative.
Yeah.
And Jacob deGrom shut down for the year pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So he loses the MVP and the Cy Young because he's going to miss the last 3 months of the season. So,
Right. So while we're talking Dodgers, Trevor Bauer was in the news this week.
you know what?
And I got to tell you something
Make
here.
it quick.
I'm going to make it quick.
Okay.
I think Bauer's going to be back in baseball.
He will never take the mound in a major league stadium again.
I think Bauer. I think this is a good week for him. I think this woman, the restraining order was denied. Number one,
I know.
I followed it.
I did.
Bauer's attorneys really punched holes in her. She wrote some texts. Like
I can't look past that.
I think he got set up. I do.
No.
I do.
There's going to be more popcorn on the
Nah.
trail to this deviant behavior. He's pitched his last pitch. In
I don't
Major
think
League
so.
Baseball.
I don't think so.
I think baseball is going to get a black eye if they turn the cheek and let this guy take the mound. That's all my thoughts. And we talked about it before. It's horrifying, and I just can't.
I think it was consensual.
Okay.
I don't. I'm just going by what I read from the testimony.
No, I disagree. Consensual.
It's a bad look. I'm not sitting here defending him.
Please
but
don't.
Also, we said innocent until proven guilty.
Agreed.
I think this woman set him up. And
I think
was
he's
looking
got
for
a
the
track record that we're going to find out more and more about.
Maybe.
Just.
But I think he'll be back.
But anyway, while we're on baseball, I wanted to bring this guy up because he kind of goes on. How often do we watch the Reds unless they're playing the Mets, right? Joey Votto got his 2,000th major league hit.
Yeah.
Looked up his numbers. Pretty good.
Very
321
good.
home runs. 303 lifetime batting average,
Very
which
good.
is rare for
in
a guy
today's
that hit
age.
300
Well,
home
in
runs.
today's age, sure.
Granted, he only had a couple of seasons with. He had 3 seasons with 100 ribbies. And that's always the mark for me in baseball. If you look at Lou Gehrig's statistics, like 13 years in a row, 175 RBIs, whatever. But today's day and age, I wanted to give a shout out because I thought that was a good milestone for this kid. He's had a good career.
Yeah, big Joey Votto fan.
Yeah, me too.
You mentioned Lou Gehrig.
Iron Horse.
The guy on the Rays. This kid, Brett Myers, I think his name is.
Okay.
In 3 Grand Slams. In like 18 at-bats or something. Broke the Babes record. Lou Gehrig, I think...
I think somebody broke his all-time
Gehrig
Grand
did
Slam.
it, and took him
24
an extra game or something like that.
24 times he had, I think.
And Jim Northrup is the all-time guy who I think did it in like 14 at-bats, 3 slams.
The old Detroit Tiger.
But there's
guy.
a kid on Tampa who had a week of,
a
when
good
you
week.
mentioned with the Babe and Lou, pretty good.
All right,
Pretty
well,
good.
He gets a mention with those 2 guys once.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah.
get that.
Exactly.
But this other kid, how about this Chris Bassett? Bassett.
Chris Bassett.
Bassett from the Oakland A's.
Took one right in the
Ooh,
head.
it's something we always, always fear. It's going to happen. It's
And how many
inevitable.
times when I pitched, I've lost count
But
of
you actually got to shave, from,
and you actually get that mid up
Yeah.
just in time. But
But this one hit the X, and it was
It
just
does.
horrifying. Yeah,
he's got to be okay though. I
He
mean,
is?
he got a fractured cheekbone or something.
But
But,
it reminds you of the whole, what happened to Kevin Pillar,
Yeah.
this season. It's part of the game. You hate to see it, but it's going to happen. But great, I'm glad he's okay.
and it's a shame because the guy was having a great year. I think it was like 10-3.
Yeah.
He was the ace of the A's and was just having a really good year. So it was,
But we send a shout out to him.
oh yeah,
you
absolutely.
he'll be back on the mound. This kid, he's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
But before we move off baseball, I wanted to bring up the Little League World Series is underway.
Yes,
And,
it is.
That's kind of cool stuff. Future major leaguers for sure. But I wanted to give a shout out to this one kid, Gavin Weir. Saw this. Tim Kirchin was talking about him.
Son
this
of
morning.
Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead.
No, actually, a left-handed pitcher from South Dakota. But Tim, we like Tim Kirchin. We like his perspective.
I
on
love
base.
Tim Kirchin.
He goes, "This is the best left-handed pitcher at whatever
In
age
Little
he
League
is.
World Series, he's
history."
seen.
Yeah. And he goes, "These kids are up there swinging and hacking. They just can't hit them."
Why, Danny Almonte's not the greatest
I was
anymore
gonna say, this
because
kid-
he was 26?
He doesn't look like the 75-pound shortstop who's 12 years old. This kid looks like an adult already.
Oh,
but,
God.
but he's lights out, and he's going to pitch going in. And Tom's River lost their first
I
game,
know, I saw it.
so it's a double elimination. So
But I was laughing watching this. Right before they got to Williamsport, I think it was New Hampshire was playing.
Hawaii, I think, something like
whatever.
that.
No, they were playing. The New Hampshire smoked this. I forget what team they were playing, but the pitcher was like, might as well have been Shaq. And there was this little kid, lefty, right, who looked like he was 4 years old. And then when I hear his stats, the kid was like for 8 for 10 getting on base. He slapped one of the shortstop.
Scrappy little kid.
Beats
right?
it out by his step, and he's. I love that.
That's great.
I loved it.
That's great.
I was laughing to myself how great that is.
But we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the College World Series. I mean, the Little League World
Right.
Series, right?
And there was a lefty, a batter on New Hampshire who was going to the major leagues because of my eye test. This kid.
He looks like Bryce Harper already, right?
Big time.
Right.
I'm telling you, this kid's got to go to the major leagues.
But we got what, another, decide this. They'll narrow it down to the final 8 in about 4 or 5 days, kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
next Saturday
Yep.
would probably be the championship game.
Yep.
I've never been. I would love to go to Williamsport.
I would definitely. It's
Wow.
a good road trip.
Academy?
you know.
Absolutely.
I think I'd rather go to Ohio State Michigan football game if I had the opportunity
Well,
on the same day.
Well, I'm glad you just segued to that because I was perusing the Ohio State website this week.
Me too.
And number 53 has been named the starter
Yes,
at
he is.
center for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And
our
that's
boy
the-
Luke Whippler.
That's Luke Whippler, who was the first guest on the Sports with
Yeah.
Mono and Mono show
Yes.
a while back.
Yep.
He is starting center for the number 4 rated team preseason poll in college
Yeah.
football. Good segue.
Luke 6'3", 300 pounds right now.
And a great, great
kid. Absolutely.
Love
We're
it.
not just saying that.
Exactly. I knew this kid since he was the size of a 25-ounce Budweiser beer can, and now he's 6'2",
Now he's starting center for the Ohio
310
State
pounds.
Buckeyes.
Yep. And we're rooting for him, man, because they got their work cut out for him because you got Alabama, Clemson. These are
Yeah.
the teams to beat, right?
And real quick, as I was perusing the website, there was an article I read about Orlando Pace at Ohio State. He is considered the greatest offensive lineman ever to come through there. And the stories they were saying about how good he was, like Mike Vrabel.
Well, we remember how good he was. We
Right.
watched it.
But like
you know.
Sean Springs played with him, Mike Vrabel played with him, and Sean Springs made this comment. He's like, as good as Mike Vrabel was, was one of the best defensive guys in the history of
Outstanding.
Ohio State and the
Yeah.
Patriots and everything.
Of course.
He said Orlando Pace murdered him. He murdered everybody.
No question
Because
about it.
that's how good this guy was, and he was a great guy. I kind of forgot,
And it
how Orlando Pace really,
But it translated unlike
Was
Mandarich.
Anthony Munoz.
Exactly.
as opposed to a Tony.
Who I actually think was the most dominant left tackle in pro football during
Right,
our
but
time.
as it turns out, it was
Sure.
all steroid based.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
I don't
it was.
know
Yeah,
about
for
that.
Mandarich, we're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about Munoz.
Oh, yeah, no.
In college, Mandarich was ridiculously great.
That's what
you
I'm
know.
talking about. But Tony Mandarich in college was all steroid based. Anthony Munoz and Orlando
NFL.
and Orlando Pace are the two greatest left tackles, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We used to worship
Right.
this guy Munoz.
Like
you
we
know.
worship John Hanna.
Yep.
A lot of people forget about John Hanna.
You know what? We got to do our greatest offensive players at each position going forward because you just brought up John Hanna, who was unbelievable.
Right.
Unbelievable. But listen, while we're on college football, Jack Cohn was named the starting quarterback
but
at Notre Dame. What do
Not
you think of that?
surprising at all. It's like a Russell Wilson type of thing. He graduate transfer, play 1 year. Yeah.
But that's big coming from Wisconsin, and they're going to meet up on the field.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. Listen, I think. I'm not surprised. I expected him to be the starter.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is ranked in the top 10, and we'll see how they
And the
open
quarterback
up.
from
They
Bowdoin-
open up with Florida State.
They do, and that's actually not on Channel 4, which is kind of unbelievable
Yeah.
for us to believe, but
It's on Peacock.
it's on Peacock.
Couple
so-
bucks to watch
Right.
the game.
And we knew this was coming 20 years ago. We said we're going to be paying.
Are they gonna go to Thatcher McGee's and watch it and have a few pints,
I'm just going for the first half.
have a few hops?
But college football is 10, 15 days away. It's coming. I love it.
Yes, yes, it
Big
is.
game. So the top 4 going into the preseason, no surprise.
And then real quick, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the ACC.
merging. right?
Well, it's going to happen. They're
Oh no, it's happening.
They're already sitting by the campfire.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
And I don't know what that means between the lines, kind of.
It just
thing,
means
you
there's
know?
going to be 2 super conferences.
Right, that's exactly where we're
That's
going.
all it is.
You know, we knew that was coming, but I didn't think so fast after that.
They had
you know.
to. They have to respond to the Texas-Oklahoma chess move.
Yeah.
And if you want to compete against the SEC, then that's what you got to do.
No, you're right. So college football on its way. How about the NFL? Let's move on to the NFL.
Yeah. What about your boy Kadarius Toney? What's going on with him? Seems to be a little snake bit. Our brother Tom loves that Kadarius Toney pick.
No, I don't think he does. Actually.
He's the biggest Giant fan in the history of Giant
Well,
fans.
because we needed a tackle in the draft, and then we left this kid from Oregon on the table and could have got him, and we didn't. So I think we had enough wide receivers, but you're right. But the story about the NFL right now is these rookie quarterbacks, right? We got Wilson, we got Lance, we got, all these, Trevor Lawrence, we know is going to be a player.
Fields and on him.
Right, so
Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going to ask you this, Steve. Who's going to make the biggest impact as that rookie quarterback? Who do you think is the can't miss of the group?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, okay.
And listen, people are questioning Urban Meyer. How come he hasn't announced that Trevor Lawrence is a starter yet? I'm like, what are you kidding?
You think he's going to go with Gardner Minshew?
You think he's going with the mustache? I don't think so. I think Trevor Lawrence will make the biggest impact. I think Zach Wilson is obviously going to start day one. I think there'll be growing pains with him.
What week does Fields replace Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback?
Week 4, I would say. It could be even sooner.
If they start out 1 and 2, it's going to be week 4.
Oh, they will
sure,
start out 1 and 2, right?
But he's looking better than I thought he would, to be quite honest with you. I like him. We watched him in Notre Dame. We know his whole career.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
I got to tell you, on the Jet front, I was a little saddened. Because Carl Lawson is a player.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of money, too.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time he's going to be out for the year.
Yeah.
He was out for the year in college. He missed a year with the Bengals.
Yep.
But this is a good kid. They invested in him. I think he's a really good football player.
Yep.
And that's a big loss for the Jets. So, the Jets in the last month, we talked about Greg Knott passing away.
Yep.
And now they lose their best defensive guy. C.J. Mosley is probably their best guy. But big blow.
But we're still in preseason mode, and it was actually good to see Patrick Mahomes play. He actually played a lot last night.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. Yeah.
He's going to work out.
Yeah, I don't think that ankle's going to really much of an issue that he was wearing.
a toe issue.
When he was golfing in November.
Nah, but he's awesome, but he did get some playing time. That means he's done for the preseason, and the season starts in a couple of weeks. How about, let me just ask you this. One of our fans, Tony, from the West Coast.
Hi, Tony.
Big 49ers fan.
Hey, Tony, let me ask you a question. How's Mac Jones look in New England?
He's actually looking pretty good.
Yes, Tony.
Yeah, I got one of my friend Tyler is very interested in this,
Yeah.
But yeah, these are the rookie quarterbacks, and I think Mac Jones starts probably week 2,
No.
3.
No.
Or does Belichick start him day 1?
No.
No. You don't think he's ready, or you don't think Belichick's willing to give him the
he's going
keys,
with Cam Newton.
For how long, though? We've seen this movie before. It doesn't end well.
He's going with Cam Newton.
Okay, we'll see. NFL real quick, and I was going to give a shout out last week to the Seahawks, who were going to play hardball with Jamal Adams, who was pulling the James Harden.
Yeah.
I want more money.
Yeah.
And they finally were going to say
caved.
They caved. That's exactly what happened. They caved, and they gave him the money. Not saying he's not worth the money.
The highest paid safety in the NFL.
Right.
Okay.
Worth it? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
That's their problem.
they caved. That was my point.
Yep.
And listen, let's before we move off the NFL and football in general, St. Joseph Regional has their opening game next week, August 28th. A little early for high school football for them.
Yeah, a week early.
But they're playing Good Counsel, team from Maryland,
Yes.
at home. And then
Yes.
they got to go down and play St. Francis Academy in Maryland on the road.
Yeah.
So they're opening up with, these are powerhouse
2 heavyweights.
games. Yeah, big time.
But we're a heavyweight too.
Right. So we're going to see. And, there's no rest for the weary. After those 2 games, they start up with the Super Conference in high school football in North Jersey, right?
Yeah.
The Bergen Catholics,
Yep.
the St. Peters, they're all powerhouse teams.
Bergen Catholic's quarterback, Steve Angeli, is
At Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, man.
Yeah, he's not on the he's not going to get on the field, but like fourth in line right now, but that's the kind of talent that we're going to get to see.
Exactly.
You know?
Howard Cross Jr. From St. Joe's.
Yep.
What's he now? Probably a junior in Notre Dame. But the point is, for our audience out there that's not familiar with St. Joe's and Bergen Catholic in North Jersey,
like they may be with IMG and all of these powerhouse,
Right, but the point is, this is heavyweight stuff here, man. This is the creme de la creme of high school football.
And listen, after what we've been through in the past year, didn't get to see one St. Joe's game in person last year, and I actually did. I drove by this place that it was empty for months, and now there's people getting tested for COVID again. So, but high school football, it's outstanding in North Jersey.
Yes, it is.
They're playing, like you said, these are heavyweights.
Yep.
Half a dozen of these kids on these teams are going to make the NFL at some point. So
More.
that's what kind of sports we get to see here.
Yeah, about half a dozen, meaning combined of all the schools.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. But I wanted to, before we move on to our next segment, this segment, of course, is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut, who I will probably see in a month. The Lynch family has opened up an opportunity for Sports with Mono and Mono to go to a game in New England.
Really?
And I'm going to see, hopefully, Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson. So, that's why we...
No, you'll see Jared Stidham.
No, we won't. No, we won't. But thanks to Lynch Toyota for their support.
Thank you, Mike.
Looking forward to seeing you, Mike.
Yep.
So, Steve, let's move on. There's a lot of other things going on. I wanted to bring that up from the world of hockey, right?
Love hockey.
Henrik Lundqvist retires after 15. We saw it coming, but I wanted to ask you a question because they're putting him, and they're probably going to retire his number.
Not probably. It's official. They are.
Right, wrong, indifferent. Is he Mike Richter?
I'm glad. No. Again, everybody that knows me knows how I feel about the Ranger goaltending.
Me too.
Mount Rushmore. There's Mike Richter on top, and there's
Eddie Jockman
Eddie
second.
Jockman 5 feet below him,
Right.
and I put Lundqvist below Eddie Jockman.
Okay, it's not a bad.
Other people may feel differently.
He had 11 seasons of 30 wins or more,
Listen,
which is third all-time in the NHL history.
Listen, Henrik Lundqvist
numbers are good.
represented the Rangers very well.
But what's missing,
Exactly.
right?
Lord Stanley.
Lord Stanley.
And that's why Eddie Jockman is below Mike Richter. Mike Richter is on a plateau by himself.
He can wear that ring.
Right. So, does his jersey deserve to be retired? He played 15 years for the Rangers.
I know he did.
I'm going to say yes, begrudgingly. We talked about Strahan last week.
How about creating a ring of honor for the Rangers?
I'd be
right?
fine with that, but
Good career.
the train left the station on that. Nothing I can do about it. The number's going to get retired.
It will.
So no, it's going to. It's
And I'm
already
not going to
official.
protest over it. I'm just saying, without that cup, it's a little void. That's all.
Yeah.
It's the Dan Marino thing. How great was Dan Marino, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl. And I go, but he was still great. That's where I put this guy Lundqvist.
Yeah.
And
That's a good analogy.
and one other thing, the number one pick in the I don't know what's so snake bitten about the Buffalo
I'm
Sabres.
glad you brought it up.
And why
I was
nobody
gonna
wants
bring
to
it
go
up.
there. Owen Power, the number one pick in the draft, has decided I'd rather play at Michigan than play for the Buffalo Sabres. And
I
don't-
can't fault the kid.
Right now, it looks like
I can't fault the kid.
A carnival that just got
It's
blown
unbelievable.
away by a
though. You have the
tornado.
number one pick in the draft, the number one pick, and for the audience,
Owen Power. from
this
Michigan.
mono went to Niagara University, so he's intimately familiar with the Buffalo area.
I am. And the
Right?
Sabres too. Yeah.
The Sabres are a mess. What can you say?
And they all want
Well,
out and nobody wants in.
There's a reason, you know.
must be. There must
Yeah, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but Eichel wants out now. Owen Power, that's huge.
It is huge. But this kid's going to probably be, the Hobie Baker Award winner next year. They're favored to be the NCAA.
The kid was the number 1 overall pick in the NHL draft, so yeah, he should win the
Exactly.
Hobie Baker
Right.
Award.
And I think it was something like he's like the first number 1 player drafted that didn't make his debut or something 8 years in a row. Like Lafreniere for the Rangers. That's the guy,
Yeah.
But he's going back to play for the Wolverines. Can't blame him, but
Can't blame him.
he's going to make the money. Let him. Hopefully, he stays
No,
healthy.
listen,
Right?
he had an agent and his advisors. They're like, son, if you go back to school, you don't have to play for Buffalo.
That's right. They got good wings up there.
Oh, when you want to play for the New York Rangers? We would be very happy to draft you in the next year or so.
Dozen hot wings with extra blue cheese.
The Blarney Stone is right down the street.
Exactly. But anyway, so that's our NHL. I wanted to bring up Henrik because I know you're a big fan.
Hendrick.
Of his, so let's move on. I wanted to give a shout out to a new sponsor of the show, Chameleon, and they make golf grips. This is a friend of my daughter Danielle's.
Right.
She was a golf player at Quinnipiac University.
Yes.
And has worked for the Golf Channel and so forth. Her and her brother started this company. So feel free to check it out. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. The website is www.chameleon, KAMELEON, raps, WRAPS.com.
Yep.
So go check them out. And
They're pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah. we have a lot of golfers out there that.
And Steve and I, we pretend to be golfers, and what people change clubs and buy new sets. I go, I'll never buy another set of clubs because it's not the clubs, it's the golfer.
Right.
But these grips are, it's better than replacing your grips. They're actually fun colors. It's pretty cool. But we wish Stephanie and her brother all the best in their new company. There is one other company I wanted to bring this up real quick because I don't usually order online. I'm one of those guys that feels, I shouldn't do it.
Right.
But I did it.
You like to try on your sneakers?
Exactly. No. But this was something else. It was a golf bag. And I saw it and I thought
You
it was
ordered a
misplaced.
golf bag online.
I did.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm not going to give you the name of the website, but it was a horrible experience. I mean,
You got a women's golf bag?
no, I got nothing. And if you want, please send us an email at sportswithmono.com.
Hello, madam.
And I'll tell you where not to buy a golf bag.
Wow.
But I got it. I got my restitution and everything. But I'm saying, if you want to know what store that was not to buy a golf bag, send us an email. I was so furious, like my first time buying something online, and I go, it's the last time.
The new golf bag is here. The new golf bag is here.
Right.
Not.
And listen, real quick before we move on to our mono points of interest, the NBA, not much going on except LeBron took offense to the fact
He
that
did.
the top 11 executives in the league didn't vote him the
He
best
brushed
player
it
in the
off.
league.
He brushed it off.
No, he actually said.
I know.
this is
I'm
gonna-
being
This
facetious.
is going to light the fire again, like he's going to be the best player in the game. I think they got it right with Giannis and Kevin Durant, right? Should we move on? That's our NBA.
Yeah, Father Time gets us all.
Right.
It's not a slight against LeBron. I mean, these guys are in their prime.
been there.
They're younger.
He's been there 18
But
years.
to me, Durant is the best player in the world.
Right now?
Yeah.
Or Giannis, I
No,
can go either way.
Durant. I got Durant.
I'll take either one of them.
Durant.
But your other guy, Joel Embiid from the Sixers.
I couldn't be happier for Joe.
When I saw that, I thought of you going,
Wow.
he got the super max contract,
Yeah, he did.
$261
Totally.
million bucks.
Right. Yeah.
And by the way,
And then he's going to pull a Greg Oden. I guarantee it.
or who is Sam Bowie, right?
Sam Bowie, Greg Oden, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he'll play about 43 games in the next 4 years.
But if you look on paper and if he could stay on the court, he's probably one of the top 6, 7 guys in the league.
Right.
And they're all getting the money.
But you know why Philadelphia is not going to win the NBA championship? because they have character types like Joel Embiid
And they're gonna trade Ben Simmons.
They're not. We talked about that.
I'm telling you right
But the
now.
point is, you're not going to win an NBA championship
Yeah.
with the Joel Embiid. I don't care that he's 7 feet and can do this, that, and the other thing. He's a dog.
But people think he's good and puts people in
He's
the
a
seats.
dog.
He's not bad.
You're not going to win a championship with this guy.
Right. Listen, Steve. Before we move on, a couple of things. Mike Garvey from Naples. He's all buckling up in his lounge chair, ready for the U.S. Open coming up.
Yeah.
Which is going to be void of Roger Federer
And now Rafi.
Rafi, so I guess that would make Djokovic the.
I think I'm going to go with the Joker on this one, Mike. What do you think?
But Mike made sure to ask me to mention that tennis is going on
Of course.
right now. And
Yes.
Naomi Osaka.
Flushing by the Bay.
Yeah. And also from a golf perspective.
But the U.S. Open, let's comment on that real quick.
Coming up.
Probably the most expensive sporting event in the United States.
Outside the Masters, of course.
Yes.
Outside.
I mean, I hear horror stories of
Oh, my God.
how expensive this
Right.
is.
It's probably $15 for a bottle of water.
The average Joe can't go to this event.
Exactly.
They just can't.
But that's how it's happening in Major League Baseball and NFL and
I
everything.
have 2 waters and 2 hot dogs, please. That'll be $98.
I said, no, I only ordered 2 waters. Yes, that's $98.
Exactly.
Right. But also in golf, the FedEx Cup is coming. It's in full force, and they're playing.
My
the
boy
Northern
John
Trust.
Ram is first place. Right?
Yeah. So Jordan Spieth had an awesome eagle yesterday at Liberty National, which is a beautiful, beautiful view of New York City on this golf course. in
I have
Jersey
been
City.
there. Most
awesome,
most
right?
recently was the President's Cup.
Yeah.
What, maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3, 4.
Beautiful, beautiful venue.
Awesome setting.
Great.
Yeah. Outside of Pebble Beach,
It's great.
one of the most scenic
It's
places
great.
you can get.
It's accessible. It's a beautiful venue.
Yeah. So Steve, let's move on to our mono points of interest. I got a couple things. We'll just touch on them.
Yeah.
We mentioned about baseball cards and trading cards in general. New record this week.
Thank God he's back at number 1. Our boy,
6.6.
our boy Honus.
Honus Wagner.
That's our boy.
Boy, this guy is the king of trading cards.
He is.
People
And
are paying this kind of
And
money.
you know
for
what?
it.
Honus Wagner was actually like the first hawker of products.
Yeah.
I found that out this week.
Well, the famous baseball cards are from a cigarette company. That's
But he's the first guy that
Yeah.
lent his likeness, name, likeness, image. We talked about this now with college, right?
it's driving me
He
crazy.
was the first guy that really made money doing it.
Big time.
And I'm glad that he's back to number 1.
But this record
When Wayne Gretzky bought that card, 20 years ago?
With
for
Bruce
what?
McNall,
Right,
I
like
guess,
$2
huh?
million or something.
Oh, it's 30 years ago. Yeah,
Right,
30
but
years
you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm glad Honus is back. But he'll probably be number 1 for about 3 weeks. So
Exactly.
something, right.
Exactly. Because they just broke the Mickey Mantle, record card,
Right, LeBron, till the LeBron card comes.
Listen, it's a big business right now.
It's huge. Man.
And by the way, this is a big kind of a news-breaking thing. Major League Baseball breaking its ties with the Topps trading card company.
Is that right?
They have.
Wow.
And they're moving on to a company called Fanatics or something. So
Well, Fanatics is owned by this Rubin kid from.
yeah.
Guy's worth a lot of money.
He's got to be the.
He's not the majority owner of the Sixers,
Yeah.
but he's the guy that jerseys and everything.
Yeah.
This guy's got a great business. So
But that's pretty big. The
that is
relationship
huge.
with Topps
That
and
is-
Major League
that's
Baseball
huge.
forever.
That's
Right?
huge.
Moving on, real quick. Tim Tebow released.
Yeah.
And we talked about it when people were outraged that he got an opportunity to sign with Urban Meyer and try out for the Jags. I said, he's not going to make the team. And he didn't
Of
make
course
the
he
team.
wasn't going to make the team.
But all the naysayers saying that it took the opportunity away from somebody else to make the team, and I disagree. I disagree.
This is how it went down. Tebow practiced, came in. We've watched Hard Knocks for 20 years, at least I have. The assistant guy's going to come up to him, take a shower,
Yeah.
Coach wants to see you bring your playbook.
Right.
Now it's Urban Meyer, and of course the history they have. Right? Was this a difficult conversation? Not really.
I know. Just saying.
Thanks,
You know.
Coach. Love you too. Goodbye.
But we've said we're big fans of T-Bowles
Totally.
and so forth, and the guy looks like $1 million, but
He's not a tight end.
He's 34 years old,
Right.
But
I'm a big Tebow guy.
Me too.
Right.
No question.
I don't think there was anything wrong with him.
Oh, he'll land on
playing
his feet.
football for a month.
Exactly. If he tries to make the NBA and gets a tryout with the Knicks, then I'll think it's a marketing thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They could use a power forward like you.
But here's something that you and I talked about, how we've been watching hockey for forever. When there used to now be no advertisements on the boards,
Yeah.
and that changed. But now it's like the last sport they're going to actually put advertising labels on jerseys.
Listen,
It's like changing the name.
20, God, what's it been now? Maybe 10 years now, 8 years, whatever, 7,
Wow.
since the NBA. I get it. I hate it because I'm a traditionalist.
Me too. That's my point.
But
that's my point.
I'll give the NHL credit for holding out for as long as they can. But it makes sense from a revenue standpoint.
It does. I get it. It just was always like a hockey jersey was like
like
one of the coolest
pristine
uniforms in all of
Exactly.
sports.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
and Gary Bettman said, "I'll roll over in my grave before you put advertising." But you're right. It's the money, the marketing. It all makes sense.
It makes sense.
It's not going to dominate the uniform. It's going to be a 4-inch patch somewhere, but.
I have no problem with the Sports with Mono and Mono
I know.
logo being
But
on a
listen.
Ranger jersey.
Exactly, and that's coming. But you know what I even noticed? Even the New York Yankees have a Nike swoosh on their uniforms. You know that?
Yeah.
And that was always the no names, pinstripes. That's it.
And also the cleats are gray, and they're getting a little lax on the.
Yeah.
What are they going to have? Beards soon?
Never. Not in
better
our
not.
lifetime.
They better not.
None of this long hair crap.
They
beards.
better not get a haircut, Mattingly.
Shave before batting practice. That's the rule.
And the rules in place because of the Roughneck Odors of the world. I don't want to watch him with that beard in Texas.
Exactly. It'd be
Coming
like,
to the Bronx.
It looked like he was from
Ali Akbar. Forget about it.
right. Hatfields and McCoy.
Forget about it.
ZZ Top.
Not doing it. Wouldn't be prudent.
Staying with baseball, what did you think of the Jack Morris comment?
I think Jack Morris.
Took it on the chin for
Yeah,
it.
I thought Jack Morris was.
Actually, Showtime came out and said, "I'm not offended by that."
I
was
wasn't.
goofing around.
I wasn't
Yeah.
offended either. I
But
mean,
you can't do it.
listen, we talked about Tom Brenneman.
Yep.
who
Career over.
who got fired by the Cincinnati Reds last year. The guy was, blah, 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 30 years, his career down the tube. Why? Because he made a off-color reference about a city that is famous for.
But I wanted to bring it up. Jack Morris he didn't mean anything by it. He was
And
just
what did Jack
goofing around.
Morris do when he came back on the air?
Apologize.
He apologized. No, but that's not good enough.
Yep.
We got to suspend him.
Last thing before we move on to our notable passing segment, the Travers Stakes. I'm telling you, I you know how I love the horse racing thing.
You love the ponies?
And we're going to see, again, next week, Travers at Saratoga, Essential Quality. Midnight Bourbon finally trying to get into the winner's circle was prominent in all the Triple Crown races. But great horses, great just excitement for horse racing in general. Travers Stakes, one of the biggest weekends in Saratoga, and it's been a great meet up there. People missed it last year for sure. But you can watch Saratoga live racing on Fox Sports 2 every day except Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
Or Monday and Tuesday, excuse me. But I think Essential Quality is going to win this. And it started to make me think. I haven't heard from our friend Corey Cole lately.
I did.
Okay, well, give
I
him my
talked to
best.
Mr. Cole for 45 minutes on my way home from work. 2 days ago.
Good.
Mr. Cole, a retired United States Marshal.
Okay. But horse
Clean
racing
bill of
too.
health. Got a comprehensive physical. So he's a long-standing, loyal listener. And Corey loves our show. We love Corey, and
Yep.
look forward to seeing him.
But if you're going to play the Travers, I don't think Essential Quality can be beat. Period. Midnight Bourbon will come in second, but he's not going to win it.
All I know is Corey Cole wants Essential Quality.
Yeah. I think so.
Corey, Essential Quality.
And it's not going to pay much, so wheel him with somebody else. So, Steve, unfortunately, our notable passing segment is something that's, not great to talk about, but it reflects on the people that we are mentioning. Joe Walton, former Jets coach, former NFL player. We like Joe Walton, actually. 85.
Absolutely. Joe Walton, the fan of Robert Morris College.
For like almost 20 years he coached them.
And he was very successful there.
He was.
And, offensive coordinator with the Jets, I think under Walt Michaels, and eventually got the head coaching gig. Took him to the playoffs twice. Had a 4-12 year due to circumstance. I don't think it was because of Joe Walton's coaching.
And that cost him his job.
And it cost him his job. But Joe Walton was, a good coach, good guy.
Absolutely.
And R.I.P. And I was sad to hear his
when you talk about a coach who was a football guy, he was a football guy.
Right. And listen, Joe Walton played tight end, surprisingly, because he looked like an accountant or something, right? Right? I played tight end for the Washington Redskins.
Movie theater usher.
Totally. A waiter, maitre d'. Your tables.
But hey, R.I.P. Joe. He was actually a big figure for New York sports when you coach a New York franchise. And he was a good guy.
Yes, he was.
Liked him.
Clipboard guy.
How about our next guy, Bill Freehand? And when you and I saw it, we said we remember him.
Most
we had
certainly.
his baseball card.
Totally remember him.
Used to wear a hat behind the plate instead of a helmet.
But we were too young for Bill Freehand in his prime for the '68 World Series against the Cardinals.
Right.
Okay.
And that's the guy that caught Denny McClain's season.
Now when he passed, 3 days now, 2 days?
Yeah.
And I was looking it up. It's an iconic picture. I don't know if you've seen it. The Tigers were losing 3-1 at Tiger Stadium. They were losing a game in the 5th or 6th inning. I think it was 2-1 or 3-1. Base hit. Lou Brock comes around third. But there's a still photo of Bill Freehand blocking the plate, tagging Lou Brock out inches from home plate. But you could just see the burliness of Bill Freehand.
Yeah, he was.
But that propelled the Tigers. That play, they went on to win that game and came back.
Yep.
Mickey Lolich pitched 3 complete games.
He did.
Right?
Started 3.
And Mickey Lolich today is the size of, the Goodyear blimp.
Right, John Candy. Yeah.
Totally. Right? And there's another picture of Mickey Lolich jumping into Bill Freehand. And Freehand is so smothered by Mickey Lolich, you don't even know it was him.
Yeah.
They had a running joke. But Bill Freehand played 11 years. And my first thing after reading about
he
it
actually played. He was 1961 to 1976. Played 15 years in that game. But he was the best. One of the best.
The 11 I was referencing was he was an 11-time All-Star.
He was. Yes, he was.
And then my first thought as I read his stats and everything, I'm like, why isn't this guy in the Hall of Fame?
He threw 53% of the runners.
Why isn't
out.
this guy in the Hall of Fame?
Because he's a 264 lifetime hitter, But at that time,
to me, he's a Hall of Famer.
And to catch Denny McClain's season,
31 wins,
just great.
And Bill Freehand was a Michigan guy through and through.
Yep.
Was the head coach at University of Michigan for 6 years, et cetera, et cetera.
79 years old.
Yeah, and he suffered from Alzheimer's for about 10 years. But Bill Freehand was a bona fide Major League Baseball player.
Yes, he was.
That we idolized.
And I don't know why.
And Jim Walsh out in Long Island is like us.
He recognizes that.
I absolutely.
until
Bill Freehand was. I was sad to hear he passed.
exactly. He was a great defensive player, number 11 for the Detroit Tigers.
Correct.
R.I.P.
Yes.
We just mentioned, and I wanted to bring it up, but also B. Wayne Hughes, who's one of the most prominent horse trainers in the business, actually the owner of Authentic, who won the Kentucky Derby this year.
Yes.
Passed away. Just like an icon of horse racing. I wanted to mention that, great guy. Saw an interview with him a couple years ago. He was 87 years old, but when you lose somebody that prominent in your sport, it's a big deal.
Sure is.
And B. Wayne Hughes was one of them. And final, and it's actually not the sports figure himself, but his wife was Vivian Player, Gary Player's wife. And when you think about Gary Player's
The dashing
career,
South African.
he was, and he just gave her credit. She was kind of like, I would consider Barbara Nicholas the first lady of golf from a husband perspective, right? She was up there, and they had they were married for like 58 years or something crazy,
Probably longer.
Yeah, but she was I used to see interviews with her. She was always sweet.
How old
Very
was she?
nice.
90 something.
Yeah, because Gary Player himself is 85 or 86.
Right, he's doing push-ups right now.
But she was always a classy
Oh,
representative
yeah,
of the game of
absolutely.
golf.
R.I.P.
So,
Vivian.
but listen, thanks for joining us, everybody. Like I said, we love to hear you. We love to give shout-outs to our listeners, Mr. Walsh, and Mr. Cole, and Mr. Garvey, and Mr. Hahn. These are people that keep us going, and we can't wait to get to the mic a week from today.
Correct.
So this will be up.
Any emails, comments, sportswithmano@gmail.com. We always look forward to it.
And you are guaranteed a response. And,
And
like I said,
Tony, we're glad you're feeling better. And
welcome back to the show. I know she's had some medical issues.
she has, but I think she should watch some tape of the New England Patriots. And I expect an apology, Tony, very soon. I'm kidding.
She's just a big Trey Lance fan, Steve. That's
Yeah.
all, right?
He's going to have some growing pains, Tony.
Let's see. But thanks for joining us, everybody. We love it, and we love to hear from you. And we'll catch up to you next week.
You got to have a great week, everybody.
Be good.
Bye.